Hi everyone, my name's Aaron, and right now we're going to see how we can use blocks in your web page. Let's start by using a simple block, the article single. If you've not already got this installed, you can get it from the command line by using the Node package manager to install Blockify and running the command Blockify install article single. Like that in your command prompt. Alternatively, you can head on over to blocks.blockify.co and download the article single from here. Once you've got your block installed, as we've seen, you call this block into your page by using the block function and passing it the block's name as the first argument. So here we'd do block article dash single. Which will echo out our block to the page, and as you can see, if we give it no data, then it just displays with some lorem ipsum in it. As we saw earlier, the block function takes up to 4 arguments, and its second argument accepts data for the block. So data passed into the block must be passed as an array, so let's do that now. We'll create an empty array and assign it to the variable data, or article data. And as you can see, we'll pass this into the block function. Now again, if we don't pass any other data into our block, it still gives us the default lorem ipsum text. So let's see how we can actually get some data into our block. Blocks describe the data that they receive semantically following the schema.org standards. This means that we've already got well-documented convention for naming our data. For example, to change the name of our article, we'll add a key called name to our array. And we'll give it some text. So if we take a look at our block now, instead of the lorem ipsum text, we've got this is the article name. We'll add another key called description and put more text there. The description is the subtitle for all intents and purposes. If we save that, we can see that we've got the article description there. Finally, to change the article's body, we'll need a final key called article body, and we write this camel cased. We'll just put in some lorem ipsum there and save that. As we can see, some lorem ipsum goes there. So some of our blocks accept lists of objects. If we take a look at our header simple block for the moment, if we call that in, block header dash simple, we can see by default it's got space for links, 4 of them here. If we wanted to add our own links to this block, we can use this by using the special @list key. So I'm just going to create another. Let me just indent this here. And I'll just create another empty array. I'll call it menu data. And I'll pass that into our header block. As we can see, nothing changes there. So into this array, I'm going to use the special key at list. Now at list tells our block that there are multiple attributes to expect. Just like with schema and how we pass our articles into our article block, each of these attributes has its own sub-attributes that we can define. So with our header, we can pass it in multiple URLs like this at list, which is an array. And in that array, we'll have multiple sub-objects called URL, and this will represent the actual link that we want to send, that we want to insert into our links. Then we've got another attribute called name, which will be the text that displays in our link. Now if we save that, we can see that our nav menu now consists of one link. An important thing to note as well is that as soon as you pass a block data, it will get rid of all of its default values. So if you add a link, you'll also need to go through and add the website name, so on and so forth, and any of the other properties that you want to use in that block. If I wanted to add multiple links, I can do this by adding multiple URLs. I'll save that. And as we can see, we've got our 4 links there. And they all go to wherever we set the URLs to. I'll just add that to make it a lot clearer so we can see the order that the links come out in as well. So, some blocks use other blocks to present their data. Now the one that I've got in mind here is the grid section, which depends on article single. If you're installing this block using the package manager and you've not got article single installed, it will automatically install it for you. So as a reminder, that would be from your console, of course, running the command Blockify install grid-section. And this will already automatically install article single for you. So I'm going to pass in some grid data now, so I'm going to create another variable, call it grid data. And that's going to be an empty array again. I'll call the block directly here, block grid-section, and I'll pass it my empty array called grid data. If I reload this, we'll see our block section pulls through some random content, which you may have seen already. Faces, things from the App Store, default lorem ipsum text. Now, just like passing in multiple URLs to the header simple block, I'm going to use the @list key to pass in multiple articles to my grid section block. So if I do @list, which is another array, and in that array I've already got some article data up here on line 14. So what I'll do is, for the time being, I will just use that. And obviously, because it's an array already, I don't need to wrap it in another array. So as we can see, in fact, if I get rid of, if I just comment that out, this is the only article that we've got in here. And if I copy that a few times and save that, we can see our articles being pulled through multiple times. So this is a very basic example. In the real world, you might want to be dealing with a set of return results from a database query, so you'd want to loop through them to build the array that you'd pass into the block. Here obviously we're just using a single article. If I was to rename this one to article data 2 and change some of the things about it here, and then just add this into our array at random, we can see this is the article name again, this is the article name. We can see how it's alternating through those arrays that I've given them. So one last example before we go is images. Now images are pretty easy to handle with blocks. All we need to do is pass the URL of the image into the block, and Blockify does the rest. So in order to do this, I'm going to add an image to our article data, because an article block can also accept images. I'll add the key image into it here, and then pass a URL this one will do. Now, if all goes correctly, we'll see that our article now has an image associated with it. Here, here, and here. And that's how you use blocks in your web page, by building arrays of data that you're going to use and then passing them to your block. Stay tuned for later videos where we'll look more into schema and how you can build your own block. Thanks for watching.